So good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. Hello.
Welcome to the fourth
Good
day.
evening, ma'am.
Welcome you all to the fifth day of this research methodology workshop, the technical session. So we can start with our session now. I would like to so kindly open our Excel sheet, which is already shared with you. The same Excel sheet which we are working. So in the last lecture, we have seen testing of hypothesis in Excel. That is independent t-test and say one-way ANOVA. Today we will complete a two-way ANOVA. And then we will start in the second half of the session, introduction to SPSS. So I would like to request everyone to open the descriptive statistics data. You can take a fresh sheet. You can copy your data to a fresh sheet. Here I have named it as two-way ANOVA as the sheet name. We can open a fresh sheet and let's see how to proceed with the step of two-way ANOVA today. So let me start. Shall I start? Is everyone ready with the Excel sheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So just for a small recap about one-way ANOVA. So this was the analysis, that is the example which we took to understand ANOVA, that is one way, or we can say single factor, that is based on factor, we say one way ANOVA or two way ANOVA. So here my factor was rank. Here my factor was rank. And in rank, I had different categories. That is professor, associate professor, and assistant professor. But now, in today's session, we are going to take two factors and to understand the example or the performance of two-way ANOVA. So what are the factors we can take? Of course, our factors should be categorical. That is qualitative type of data. So already we are going to have our rank as one of the factor. And next factor, I'm going to take it as gender. So here we are going to see whether rank and gender have significant effect on the salary. So this is what we are going to see in today's session. So first we have to summarize the data. For one way ANOVA, the summarization was very simple. We just segregated the salary based on their rank, that is salary of professor, assistant professor, and associate professor. But for two-way ANOVA, the segregation part, that is the tabulation, is slightly different as compared to one-way ANOVA. So I'm just zooming the sheet for your good appearance. I have to represent these two factors row wise and column wise. So it doesn't matter if you take row any factor and column you take any factor, it doesn't matters. Okay. So I am planning to take in the same format. That is, I will take my rank in the column. So gender will be in row. So male and female. This is gender. So this is what my table is going to look, the format of the table. So we have to summarize all these values in this tabular form to apply two-way ANOVA, because here I am able to list, that is I am able to show the two factors, that is rank is my one factor and gender is my second factor. So this table is also called as cross tabulation, because I am bringing two categorical information in one table. So the cell which I am just highlighting here in yellow color. So this data is nothing but what? The salary of professor, that is male professor salary. The cell which I have highlighted in green color represents salary of female professor. Likewise, we have to get the values of 6 different possibilities. So this blue color indicates salary of male associate professor. Likewise, female associate professor, male assistant professor, and female assistant professor. Now, which value are you going to put in this table? So when I'm going to summarize this, in this table, we are supposed to put the average of the dependent variable. Average of the dependent variable. And what is our dependent variable here? We are considering salary. So what will be there in this cell? It will be the average of our dependent variable. Now, how are you going to compute this? There are 2 ways to compute. Sorry. One way, of course, the filtering part. So first, let me show you how do we do by the filtering. So you are going to apply filter to the column. So the yellow cell, here I need male professor detail. So in rank, you are going to select only professor. In gender, you are going to select only male. And the information which you have got now, that is the filtered one. If you see now from the top to bottom, you can just scroll and see. It is only professor and male, that is male professor's information. So Control Shift down key, that is you select the complete column of that. You get the average value in the bottom of the sheet. Or else, you know the formula, right? Equal to average and select the data. So it is better you take this data separately, because otherwise it should come 28 observations are only there and 1 to 4. So you can take it in a new sheet, these values, and see what is the average you are getting. Yes, now it's correct. 1 to 4. You can take 2 or 4 digits around off, and you can note down these values. Okay, so like this, you can get the average of each and every combination one by one, and complete the table. This is one way of getting the value. So like this, you have to keep on changing. Now you will take the professor and say female. Select this. Copy this data to a new sheet. apply the average formula on this data. So whatever you are getting, copy it. See, open out and filter it. Yeah. And paste it in our cell, that is professor, female professor. So this is one of the way to complete the table. Okay, so you can try this for the other 4 cells also the same way. That is, you will get a practice also. Then I will tell you the next alternative method. First, you can go for this filter method and complete the remaining cell. Then I will show you the alternative method and we can cross check the answer. Okay, I hope you must have completed this cell. So those who are still doing, you can continue. Let me show you the alternative method. That is, of course, our pivot table. So pivot table is one form which will summarize and give you as per your requirement. So let us see how we get all the data together in pivot table. So the pivot table procedure is what? In insert, you will go to pivot table. and from table range. So it is asking you the table range. Select the data and it is asking you once. So we will select here one of the cell. So now row and column, it's your option. As we have taken here row, let me put in the same structure for your better understanding. So gender, we will take in row. So it is taken in the order of alphabetical. So female, male. In the column, we are going to take the rank. So it is in this format, associate professor, assistant, and professor. Now what we are going to take in the value? Now we have to take the dependent variable information. So here, what is the dependent variable? According to this sum, which example which we have taken now?
Salary.
Yes, correct. Correctly. So we will take here salary in the values. So if you see, we have got the information. But if you noticed very clearly, double click on that. What it is mentioned? Sum of the salary. It is by default what? Sum of the salary. But actually what value I want in this cell?
Average salary.
Average salary. Very good. So let us click one cell and go to the value field and click in that average of the salary. I'm repeating once again. You must have got the name in one of the cells, sum of the salary. Click on that. That is right click. Value field settings. In that, click on average and click on OK. See, you must have got a table which have calculated the average for all the possible combinations. And for your confirmation, you can just see we have computed one of the value. You can cross check also. Is it matching? See, for professor, for female professor, it is 132056. See, in the pivot table also, we have got the same thing. Fine. So this is how we get the pivot table, which has average salary. So now what we can do is just copy only this data and we have to put in the tabular form. So we can put in our format what we have made. So here I want associate professor male. So associate professor male, either you type or copy paste it. Or else what you can do, you can just copy only this data in a new cell. That's also okay because we need only the data, not the total row and total column. So you can just copy and paste this in a new space. And if you want, for your information, for your understanding, you can give the headings. Anyway, this is not going to be selected in our analysis part, but just for your presentation purpose. So this is what we have got. Now let us see the procedure of two-way ANOVA. So same procedure, data analysis, ANOVA, two factor. Now I have got your two factors. First factor is, that is, we can't, it's not first, second. One factor is rank and another factor is gender. So there is no order in the factors. You can say any one as factor 1 and factor 2. So here we have to take ANOVA two factor without replication. When I'm saying with replication, the meaning is in one information you are having more than one value. That means in female associated, you have taken two observations like that. So when I'm going to take an average, I am going to have only one observation. So it's generally two factors without replication and okay. To select the data. So when you are going to select the data, it's again very important which column you are going to select. So your input range will consider only the column and the row heading, not the main description of that. You will not select rank and gender. You have to select only their categories, that is from male, female, and in the rank, associate professor, assistant professor, and professor, only that column. You should not select the cell of gender and rank written. That you should not select. Okay. So only this many information has to be selected in the input range. Next steps are as similar. Label. Alpha by default 5%. Output range. Take one cell and click on OK. So kindly perform. I'll wait for 5 minutes. You all may perform. Then I shall proceed with the next part, the discussion. Fine. So once you have done this, of course, for the decision part, that is to make the conclusion, we have to look to the p-value which we have got. So we have got here the p-value, two p-values, row and column. So here you can change the name. What does row denotes in our case? Gender. So you can write your gender. And what does column denotes? Rank. Okay. So according to this, again, It's the same procedure of the decision making. You're supposed to confirm, that is compare with the level of significance 0.05 standard. So according to that, what will be the conclusion for the first one? That is for gender significance value.
More than.
Yes. So for the first case, it is greater, and then for the second case, it is less. So from this, we can conclude that one of the, that is, which is that if it is less than, we have to reject the, if p value is less than level of 0.05, we reject. So here, according to this value, one variable is rejected and one is accepted. So which one we are going to reject here? The second one, right? Because that is p value less than 0.05. So here we are going to reject. And for gender, we do not reject. So the meaning is there is no significant effect of gender in the salary. And reject means what? There is significant difference, right? So there is significant difference on salary based on the rank. That is the conclusion which we are getting. So if you recall, in the independent t-test which we have done, we had tried this separately. Okay. So from there also we have got the similar interpretation that gender doesn't have any impact. That the salary is not based on the gender, but salary depends upon their position. So based on the position, the salary differs. So that is what in two-way ANOVA we can say together. We can find both the factor. One thing what we cannot see in Excel in two-way ANOVA is the interaction. What we say something called as interaction effect. Now, what is that interaction effect? When I am saying for gender factor, it is called as main effect. When I am saying rank, that is also called as main effect. So when I am taking gender as my main effect, that time my factor B, that is the second factor, is silent. It is constant. It doesn't have any role during the interpretation time with respect to the first factor. When I'm telling gender, I'm telling only about the gender, that whether gender has a significant effect on the salary. And when I'm saying rank, I'm going to check only rank as significant effect on the salary. So here it is difference. We will say significant difference in the salary. But when I'm saying interaction effect, in that case, it will take both the factors together and check whether they have an equal role in that or not. So that part is not visible in Excel, but that we can see in SPSS or say in another software. So to make you understand with a very simple, easy example, it's like you are going for a weight maintaining program or say weight loss program. So one of the factor can be what are the different types of exercise you are doing. And I want to check whether that exercise is having any significant effect on my weight program, weight management program. The second factor is when I'm doing some exercise, of course, the same exercise can be done by male and female. So second factor is what? Whether the gender has any significant effect on the weight management program. So they both are different, right? The next important thing in them is interaction. That is whether there is an interaction between gender and the exercise type on the weight management program. So that is what interaction effect means. That is whether there is any effect of any exercise on the weight management program which we are doing is same for male and female. Because male and female do the same exercise. So whether that has an interaction effect or not. The same way here also, male and female are doing same job in the teaching faculty, but whether there is any interaction effect due to their position, due to their ranks, that is called as interaction effect, which is not visible directly here in Excel when we take without replication, but that we can see in SPSS when we'll be doing the same example. So I will explain you that time about the interaction effect. Okay. So I hope you all have understood the small basic things what we have tried to cover in this Excel session. So you can keep on practicing and try to relate your examples also accordingly and make understand which technique will be suitable. So of course in one day you can't do the any miracle or any magic. It will take time. You have to keep on practicing. Then you will get some idea later. Okay, for this particular thing we have to go for this exercise or this techniques, this test, so on. Okay. So if anybody is having any doubt in this two-way ANOVA, you can just make clear it now because next
এখন যে উনি
I
নেই
can
তাতে কি
show
তোর
you
একটু মানে তুই কি নিজের মতো ফ্রিডম পাচ্ছিস?
SPSS demo session. Shiba, amma inga para So I can start with the next session. So there is one message. Can you show us the interpretation part? So that is what I was telling you about. I have just highlighted if you see in the Excel sheet. This is the interpretation which we have, that is the conclusion which we have got. Our hypothesis is going to remain the same. What we have done in this. See, this part is going to remain the same, hence I am not writing it again and again. This part all is going to remain the same. So here we have written only one hypothesis for rank, but here when I'm going to do for two-way, we have to write for rank and gender to separately. That's all. This is the interpretation for this. Reject and do not reject. That means one is significant and another is not significant. So I think you must have got the link for installation of SPSS. Some may be able to install it or some may not. It may take little time to understand the step. You can read the steps a little more time to understand and install it. It is a 3-4 page to read and go for the installation procedure. So today, if you are unable to have the SPSS, no problem. At least today you observe what I am doing so that you can take one more day for the installation, see the step and go for the installation process. And you may practice that, of course, later on. But today, those who are having, you can perform along with me. Those who are not having, you can observe what I am doing and you can note it down so that whenever you get an opportunity to work with SPSS, at least you have some idea of what to click and what to put in which cell. Okay, so that can be done. So let me open an Excel SPSS sheet for you. So I would take a blank sheet first, how it looks when you open an Excel SPSS sheet. Okay. Could you see a blank sheet or a data entry entered sheet on the screen?
The data
Data
entry
enter one.
sheet.
Data entry sheet.
Okay, it is taking little time. So could you see a blank sheet now? A row and column.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So this is how an SPSS window looks once you install. And when you install the trial version, now maybe you'll be not able to access all the facility in that, but to some extent you can go for basic of the statistics that. So first, let me explain you what does this shows and different types, how it is different than Excel window. The presentation, that is the visualization part, is the same. Same means, I mean similar. We have rows and columns. So the rows you can see numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. But here in the column, in Excel, we used to have A, B, C, D, but here it is var. So your var means variable. So variable 1, variable 2, variable 3. If you see in the right top right corner, it is written as visible 0 of 0 variables. So that means you have not having any data entered at, hence it is showing as 0 of 0 variable. Just for your reference, I am going to take your one variable. Say, let me take the rank data which we are having in our Excel. And see what difference is going to happen. So before pasting that, I would like to show you one more window here. If you see at the bottom of the left bottom, you can see here two buttons like one is data view and the second is variable view. Is that visible to everyone, my cursor?
Yes, ma'am.
Data view and variable view. Currently, we are in data view. That is what yellow color it is highlighted. Now I am clicking on variable view. So now the highlight, yellow color highlight has gone to variable view. So if you see, my screen is slightly changed with different column names. Okay. So I'm again coming to data view where it is mentioning all variable. That is, it is asking you to enter the data. When I'm clicking in variable view, it is having again some rows and columns, but your columns have few specifications. We will come to that later on. I am not typing anything here. I am not doing anything. I'm just showing you. Whatever data entry you have to do in data view. So I have already copied that rank information and I'm bringing my cursor to the first cell of my first column and I'm just pasting it. Okay. So you have observed what I did. I just pasted that first column of our data here and see what all changed has happened automatically. In the variable, that is the column name, which was written as VAR. Now it has been given a name as VAR 0001. That is, it is telling it is variable 1. If you see in the right top corner, now it is written as one of one variables. That means one variable is given here. Now again for your reference, I am going to take say salary information here now. So let me copy the salary data and I'm going to paste in the second column. Okay. So now what it is showing? Variable 2, that is var2 and visible 2 of 2 variables. Okay, so I have just that is I have entered my data in data view, that's all. I didn't do anything in the variable view. Now let us come to variable view. So data view means we view the data here. Variable view means we will view the information about our variable. So when I am coming to variable view, we didn't type anything here, right? But by default, if you see here, automatically few of the information is there in front of you. We didn't type anything. By default, it understands the data and try to put the description of the data in the variable view. By default, it puts sometime proper information, but sometime it may be wrong also. So we have to change it accordingly. Fine. Sorry. So let us understand about the variable view. First one, name. By default, it is written as 1. If you want, you can change the name. So here I am going to give the name as what? Rank. So RANK. Suppose if you want to write few more things in this column name, you can write. Suppose if it is of 2 words, it will not take space. Suppose if I am writing rank of the faculty, or if I want to write here, say, faculty rank, it will not take it will say variable name contain an illegal character because it will not consider space. We can't have space. So what you can do is you can write faculty underscore and rank. Now it will consider. So it will not take space in the column name. Second is type. So what is this type? By default string. You want to know first what are the different types available for our data. You click on this. You will get here. So numeric means number, comma. That means if you are having any data in terms of comma, dot, scientific notation, date, dollar, custom currency, and string. So string is nothing but if you're having anything in terms of label. So here my faculty rank is of course string only, right? It is a alphabet or character. So it is going to be string. So no need to change. Width. By default, it has taken width is 9 depending upon the number of alphabets. So if you see the maximum number of alphabet is an associate professor. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hence, by default, it has taken already 9. Suppose if I'm going to decrease this, just see what is going to happen in our data. I'm going to do it as 5. Okay. See what is happening in the data view. Did you observe any change here? What is the change?
Yes.
Count of alphabets.
Associate professor get a source.
Yes. We have given it only, we have given the bit size of only 5. So it will not take more than 5 alphabets in that particular column. So remaining will be hidden. So hence we give the width maximum. If you give maximum more than 9 also, it will take. That doesn't have a problem in this. But now since we have decreased, it has gone. That is deleted by default. So hence, whenever you are going to enter any data, you should be careful that you always give the information in the variable view first and with maximum width of the particular column. So since we have given 5, it has gone. It will be not retrieved again here. Okay. So now you know what is the meaning of ASSOC. Now if you want, again from Excel, I can copy paste it. It will be visible because I have given the width as 11 and copied it and I'll paste it here now. Okay, one more thing. See here, by mistakenly, I have copied the rank also. Can you see that in the first row from the Excel? So when you're copy pasting the data from Excel now, you should not copy the column. You have to copy only the observation. That is what I want to show you here in this case. When I'm copying the column, it will take that as one of the observation. It will take that as one of the observation. So paste. See, now we have got the name in the full form. Again, I am going to copy my salary because if you have noticed, the first is name of the column, which should not be in SPSS. SPSS should consider only the hence. If you must have observed here, by default it was string. Did you observe here in the variable view why it is string for the second variable? Because one of the observation is character. Hence by default it has taken here as string. Are you understanding here why it is taken as string by default? Because of that one information. Now I'm going to change. Better you first clear this completely so that you can understand the difference now when I'm going to paste it. Now I pasted only the numbers And you can check now in the variable view what change has happened. It will be little slow to when we are working in SPSS.
In place of string, it comes numeric in this time.
So now did you observe? Now I'm having only numbers in my salary. Hence by default the type has become numeric. Got it? So likewise, it understands the data and inputs the informations accordingly. If I want to change my variable name, I can change here. I'm going to write here as salary. Now coming to the next one, decimal. Of course, when it is string, there is no meaning of decimal. But when it is numeric, of course, the role of decimal comes here. By default, if you see 0.00 is there. If you see in our Excel data, there is no 0.00. So if you don't want that, you can just decrease to 0 and just see in the data view. Now the change in the salary column. So did you observe the difference? Okay. This is the change happens. Now coming to the variable view again. Label. Label is blank by default. So label means, for example, when you see many of the data sheet in Excel.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am,
Yes,
my
yes.
width is coming 9 and 6 for faculty rank and salary in the variable view.
That is default. That because our maximum was there 9 only. Na?
Yes.
9. I have just increased to show you that nothing will happen. Since in
Ma'am,
that
and
associate professor maximum letter is 9 now.
okay. Ma'am, and in
Sorry.
type, faculty rank is a string and in salary type is
No, you
string. Same.
automatically.
Not, I can change
Automatically
it,
it will get. Sorry.
ma'am, but
Yes,
it
you can
didn't
change
change
it.
automatically.
No. What you want to change, madam? You want to change
Ma'am,
the
I'm
type?
asking about, yes, type. My type in salary is coming string and yours is numeric.
Because same thing I did in the beginning to show you. When you are copy pasting from the Excel now, see in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
first row, are you having the salary name in the SPSS?
Ma'am, I removed it afterwards.
Then once you have entered, na, so it will be there. Now you
Okay.
remove that complete row like this. Select that and clear it. And it will be a change.
Clear. Okay.
Select this, yeah, and clear it.
Okay.
And then again paste, and you can see the change in the variable view later.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So by default, it takes according the maximum. You can change, but don't decrease. You have seen, if you decrease, it is going to delete the alphabet accordingly, and you can't see later if you're going to increase also. Decimal, I just show you what is the purpose. If you want, you can keep in the numeric. If you don't want, you can remove. Label. Now, what is the purpose of label? Yes, this is where I stopped in between. In some of the, or many of the time, you must have seen when you have a used data set, in the name of the column, they write in short form. For example, if there is a big name, for example, in this first also, faculty rank. If it is a very big data sets, they write very short form, right? Like FR. if I'm writing just FR. Now, I have entered the data. You and me know what is FR. Okay, currently, because we are doing together, we know what is the full form your FR. But when the third person comes, he or she may not understand what does this FR mean, right? Because this is the short form we have given, na? There is no such standard general meaning of this. So, then in that case, when you write a short form, you can give the description about the variable name in label. So here I can write the position of the faculty, the rank of the faculty. I can write a rank of the faculty. So I can type any description about the column name which you want to give. If I want to give the description over here, I can write salary of the faculty based on their ranks. Okay, like this. You can give the description about the variable name. Now let us see what change has happened in the, because whatever change I do in variable view, it will affect in the data view. So when you come to data view, you can't see directly, of course, the change here. But when you bring your cursor on the heading of my column, you can see the information or the description what you have written about it. Now I'm getting my cursor to the salary column. Got it, everyone? What is the purpose of label?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what meaning is. I will change here the column name because if anyone joins late, then they may not understand what is this FR. Fine. Now values. Currently, I'm not going to touch anything in this values because I don't want to confuse you in the beginning itself. I will come to this. What is the purpose of values when we come to the hypothesis testing part? Here, when we do some descriptive part, there is no meaning of the values or there is no use of values here. So let it be by default none as it is. Missing, when you're going to work with a huge data set, we have some missing values here, okay? We may not get some values. So here in that case, if there is some missing values, we sometimes put some default values. So if I want to put anything about that, here, what missing values I can put, okay? Or in missing values, if you want to put some in format of range, etc. So that is what you can type here. So again, that is none by default here. Next, columns. Again, not need for any analysis part. Alignment, it is again just a basic alignment of our data entry. Measure. Yes, coming to the main part, measure. Because this is very important when we go for the analysis, because as we mentioned, qualitative and quantitative. So depending upon quantitative and qualitative, you be get the analysis further. So here, by default, to some extent, it puts correctly. That is when there is a string now. So it on a general standard is nominal, it considers. Okay, so it is nominal only because there is no order here. But if you want to change, you can click and change. Ordinal or nominal, but of course here there is no order. We are just writing in terms of any, there is no preference here. So nominal. Salary is string numeric. So here it is mentioned unknown. Why it is showing unknown? Because number can be scale or ordinal, because suppose if you are putting, say, any preference like 1, 2, 3. So in the data view, what will be having? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, any codings. So in that case, you get confused. It is confused means it is not having that clarity whether I have to put scale or ordinal. So when I'm writing 1 to 3 or say 3 to 1, it is in some order, that is number. But here, numeric is what? Scale, because it is measured in some scale. So I have to consider it as scale. So if any data that is measurable, that is quantitative type, it will come under scale. If it is qualitative type, it will come under nominal or ordinal, depending upon your option provided. Last one is role. Again, that is not any purpose of our analysis. It is just input, means you are inputting the role. Input in the data is your role here. So this is the rough or overall idea, overall understanding about the data view and variable view to start and to understand about basic introduction to SPSS. Rest, a few more what we can see, like file, edit, view, data. That is all the options under which we can see different test or options available to us. Below that, we are having all notation that is in symbol form. That is the shortcut is for few of the analysis part. Okay. So I have taken here two things, two variable. One is quantitative and one is qualitative. Okay. So let us start with a small analysis, because with quantitative, we can do numeric summary of the data, and with qualitative, we can do graphical presentation. So I would like to show you about this two data here. So when I want to do graph presentation, you can see the option available as graph, which is just above the symbol of a camera type. So this is my graph option available to me. So in that legacy dialog will show you the different graphs available. When I click on chart builder, it will show me the preview, how the graph will look. Like for example, if I take a bar graph, in that first one simple, if I drag here, so it will show in this format. So if I'm putting here, say, rank of the faculty, so by default, it will give me a count. It will show me how would be the presentation of this chart. You can click on OK. You will get a graph in this format. In SPSS, we have different screen, that is, we say different window for output. So the output, the window which you have been seeing till now was data editor window, and a window which you will be getting the output is the output window. Okay, you will be not able to see that, but I will just change the setting of the visualization. Yeah, is the bar chart visible to you all now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Output window. So here we don't have the output on the same screen, that is same window where data is there. We will be having a different window called as output window. Okay. Now the presentation of graph is not that attractive in SPSS by default, which is gives, but we can edit. When you double click on that, you will get a chart editor. So from this, if you want to do some editing work, so you can try that. So when you click on this first one, data label mode, you will get a box type, and this will give you the numbers, that is the count of each bar. If you want to change the color, of the border of the bar, so you can do all that color changing accordingly. Okay, so this can be done in the editing part. If you want to give the axis name, you have to insert the axis name, title name. Okay, so all that can be done from this chart here. So once you close this, you can see the difference here in the output window. If you want to decrease the size of the graph, that also you can do if you must have. So whatever change you want to go for, everything you can see in this option chart editor.
Ma'am, excuse me,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, where will get the chart editor, ma'am?
Can you double click on the chart, ma'am?
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Just double click on that, you will get it. Okay. Now let me come back to the analysis. So you can either do the selection from the analysis which is there in the chart window, or you go to our data window. From there again, come to graph. And now let us try with the pie chart. So pie. So when you drag on this, it will show you how it will look. So of course we can do only for the qualitative type of data. So the only thing is your rank. Click on OK. You will get a pie chart. The same thing, if you want to decorate your or make it very attractive, double click on the chart. You can decrease the size, that is the height, width of the pie diagram. Okay, it will get decreased in this form. Then same way, giving labels. So you know the difference between bar and pie now. Bar gives the count presentation and pie gives percentage. So by default, automatically it will calculate the data in terms of percentage and give you the percentage value. Further, all you want to do furthermore change, you can apply all the whatever change, attraction, color changing, editing, you can do one by one. Okay. Fine. So you can make as per your favorite color combinations. The chart editor to make it more presentable. So it's solely about you, about your color interest. So changes can be done with the help of chart editor in SPSS. So once you close it, you can see the reflect in the output window of SPSS, whatever change you have done. Okay. Now let us see a few more things, what all we can do in quantitative type of data. Okay, next let us come to our data window. Come to analysis now. You can see the option called as analysis. You have list of options available here. But if you are using a trial now, you may be not having all this option available to you. But the basic things can be covered up in that too. So starting with first part, say descriptive statistics. And in that, the first option, say frequency. Let us open and see one by one what all is possible in our type of data. So when I am coming to frequency, so the meaning frequency itself is what? Something count based, right? So before clicking on OK, because once you click on OK, you're going to get the output. First, let us understand the window or what the option window which we have got. You will always get in all the analysis two different column type space. The left side, you will be having all the possible variables available in front of you that is present with you, which is possible for this analysis. And where you are having the space and given the heading as variables, there you have put your variables for the analysis part. Now it is blank, hence the OK button is not highlighted. Just back one variable in the variable from left to right side. Automatically the OK button gets highlighted if the minimum required is done. So in this case, both the variable can be used for the analysis purpose under frequency. But let us see first what is there in this frequency option. From where I can know this, there is an option called as statistics. Click on that. That will tell me the possible descriptive statistics, that is the frequency statistics. So now you click on everything and see what is happening. Quartiles. Okay, for quartiles, so the terms which you know, like mean, median, mode, sum, standard deviation, variance, range, minimum, maximum, skewness, kurtosis, standard error. This all the words you know, right? Click on OK. Okay, just we have selected all this thing, the options. But now we have to input our variables. So you can either drag and put the variables, okay, or select and just click on the arrow mark. That will also do. Okay, select and click the arrow marks, that will also do. Okay, now just think now before doing. One is quantitative and one is qualitative. I have taken all the things because it is what tool, it is technique. Whatever you click, it is going to accept. But now let us see how is my output going to be presented for both this data. So hence purposefully to make you understand, I have taken here one quantitative and one qualitative. So by default, display frequency table is given to you here. Okay. Click on OK. See now what information is given to us. So first it is showing me statistics. It is giving me the description. Two columns are there. First column is rank of the faculty. What I have written about the column name is coming as the heading. You have noticed this very carefully. First column is rank faculty, which we have written in the description part label. And second, for salary, we have written what? Salary of the faculty based on the ranks. Right? See the information what we have got. Under rank of the faculty, we have not got any of the values here, correct? But it has counted because we can count, no? 1, 2, 3, 4 in the rank. So it is counted and mentioned 51 counter there. But in salary, it is given 50 and 1 missing. I will show you why it is showing as 1 missing. I'm coming to the data set now. If you see very closely in my observation, by default, we had taken that salary column, right? If you remember the column name, then I delete. Can you see in that 51st observation, a dash is there in the salary? Just zoom and check. Can you see a dot in the 51st observation?
Yes,
One as thank you, and one as missing. So this has to be very taken care when you are doing all this thing. So before doing all this thing, clear it, everything properly, or better, when you're copy pasting it, do all that very carefully. Now I'm going to perform the same thing once again. Okay, now check it. The output. change in the output. Now I cleared it, okay? I have cleared that 51th observation where there was a dot, which it was considering as missing. After clearing it, see it's showing me 50 observation and missing 0. Did you all understood? How much careful we should be while putting the data entry also, okay? Now, since mean cannot be calculated for the rank, hence mean is not there and all those measures, and it is computed all the numerical measure for the quantitative type of data. Next, for the frequency table, of course, frequency table means it will count, right? So how many associate professors are there, assistants are there, their percentage, etc. Similarly, since I have asked frequency table and I have selected the quantitative type of data also, it has created a table for salary by taking the tally marks. Okay, by taking the tally marks. So where I'm having 2, that means 92,000 salary is for 2 persons. Rest 2 faculties have 92 salaries. Rest all is one single. That is, everyone has a different salaries. So like this, it makes the frequency table. So conceptually, you know, frequency table is suitable for which type of data? Frequency table for which data? Quantitative or qualitative?
Quantitative.
Frequency table, that is tally mark, which we do. Qualitative, present tables. Let's see the presentation. Frequency means count. So professor, how many professors are there? How many assistants? That is very presentable, reliable. But when I select quantitative, it will give me the output. Because as I said, you put anything, you get the answer. But presentable wise, just think whether this is very presentable. No. Right, this is not a proper good table for presentation. Because it is what? Quantitative type, continuous data. So for qualitative, we can prefer a tabular form. So my intention to here and make you understand is, you put anything, you will get the answer. But that answer is helpful for you in the presentation wise, that is important. Okay.
Ma'am, can you please
Coming to
repeat
the
it?
next.
Ma'am, can you please repeat this quantitative, qualitative right now, what you said?
Yes, ma'am. So if you remember our phase, when we had an introduction of the theoretical part, for what type of data, which type of analysis is preferred and is suitable. So for qualitative type of tabular form or say charts, that is the preferred one or the best way to present. But when I am having quantitative type of data, that is the measurable data, your salary, for that type of data, the summary statistics is the suitable one. I have asked for frequency table. It is giving me, right? It has given me this frequency table. But just try to understand from this, or you imagine whether it is a very good presentable data. No. Suppose I'm having 5,000 data. It will list out all the 5,000 values here and the tally marks of that. Which is not the appropriate way for presentation of a quantitative type of data. The frequency table is and for qualitative data. Okay. And for quantitative is
It will
numerical
be
part.
difficult to interpret, like with frequencies.
Yes. Yes. Correct. Correct. The thing I want to actually come out here is when you click anything in the tool, it is going to give you the answer. That is what. Got it? So you should understand what should I put in the variable for what I, as per my requirement. So when I click on the data and I'm clicking on the charts, it is asking me what you want. When I am, so for now I am taken your rank. So we have tried bar and histo chart. Na? So now you just, I'm going to click up histogram for a qualitative type of data, how it is going to look. What it is given here, rank of the faculty is a string, so histogram cannot be produced. It is a correct answer, right? Histogram can be plotted for which type of data?
Continuous.
Yes, continuous. That is quantitative, right? Now, in place of histogram, I am going to change it as, say, pie or bar. Any one you can see. Okay. Okay. Now, see, you didn't get any warning because you can plot a bar chart or pie diagram, right? So, this is how it works. Let me show you for the quantitative now. Now I'm moving this to the left hand side. That is, I'm moving and I'm bringing the salary to the right hand side. I am clicking on the chart, clicking on histogram. Okay. See, it has plotted. Because histogram can be plotted for quantitative type of data. So it is all a bar. In between, maybe there is no data in this range. Hence, there is a space in the last, second last, and last bar. If you want to draw a curve, if you want to see the shape of the curve, even that was possible. If you have option in your chart, show the normal curve. It will come in the screen. It will take little time for the image. Continue. Okay. And see now the difference. It will plot the curve, bell-shaped curve if it is possible. So here, to some extent, it can make a bell shape. Okay. So this is what the purpose of histogram and normal curve. And you know how important the normal curve is to check the normality of the data. Okay, fine. Next, coming to the data again. Analysis, descriptive. Coming to the next option, say descriptives. Let's see what all information is there in this descriptive. Now see here. In the earlier part, when it was frequency, you were able to see both the type of variable, quantitative and qualitative, right? But in this particular option, descriptive, your string will be analyzed. Hence, the string data is not present in our option itself. So this much understanding or this much more settings is all been inbuilt in it. It understands, it knows which type of data can be selected for which options, etc. So only quantitative is possible in string. So select that, and if statistics is not there, then you go for option to see what all is here. So here it is the same part that is which was similar to the descriptive, which was present in frequency. So you can just click and see how the presentation looks. All the descriptives. It is asking you to display order. You want it in the variable list order or you want in the alphabetical order, so on. So by default, it is in the variable list form, that is faculty, salary. Suppose if I'm going to put in alphabetical also, it is going to come in the format, in the alphabetical ascending order, whichever you want. Continue. Okay. Only the presentation part is different, that's all. Let the output window come, then I will show you. Yes, it's now visible. If you see our frequency part, our output was in which format? Column wise, na? That is row wise, you can see the values. Mean is in row wise, that is the heading. Description of the descriptive statistics was row wise. Mean, median, mode, variance, like so on. But if you see in the descriptive part, it is in the column wise. That is out the differences, that's all. So if you see the presentation is row wise. And when you come down, the recent one which you have done in the descriptive, the tabulation in the column, that is did you let us go then for the next part. I'll come back to the data now. Let us see the next option available. So it's all trial and learning. When you click one option and see, you yourself can understand what is there in which particular option available to you. It is getting loaded, just buffer. Generally, when we have SPSS, little version of this licensed one, it gets hangs when we connect it.
So I think there is a network problem.
Yeah, is my voice audible? Yeah. So now the next thing which we can do here is in analysis, the explore option. You are having some more information here, and here we can take both the type of variables, that is quantitative and qualitative. Plus, let us see what is there in statistics. So, somewhat similar here, descriptives, if you want to know outliers in plot. So, here again, I am having an histogram only to check the normality of the plot. To check the normality of the plot, there are two types of chart, that is stem and leaf and histogram. Mostly histogram is the known name to many of them. Okay. So of course, normality is checked for the dependent data, that is my salary. Here there is no need of rank. But let us put and see what happens when I put rank in the factor. And I'm not selecting here any of the option. Just clicking on OK. So you can see here what it is mentioning in the warning in the output. Faculty is string, and the procedure cannot be used in the string variable. So whatever is possible for the numerical variable, it has given to us. Okay. So here what it has given the information, what is the difference? It is segregated. That is rank wise, we are having associate professor, assistant professor, and professor, right? So it has segregated the data of associate professor and given the descriptive statistics of that. It has segregated the information of assistant professor because we have given the factors now as rank ends. It's taken the factor and it has divided the data accordingly and given the descriptive part separately for each of the ranks.
Madam, the voice is not clear.
Your voice is not proper. Hello.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Yeah, I think now it's clear.
Yes, ma'am. Now.
I think
Yes,
it's better
ma'am, yes.
now. So I was talking about the normal test which is available in the Explore. So the last class we were taught the normality test. of the data, to check the normality of the data with the help of histograms and say skewness, you may or may not have looking at the diagram. So the better way, that is to show significantly, that is with the help of the statistical test, that is test of normality, which is Colmagro, the name which I stated in that presentation. And there is one more test, that is Shapiro-Wilk. So both the test is used to check the normality, and which should be used when, preferred when. Shapiro test is generally preferred for small sample. I'm repeating again. Shapiro-Wilk significance value is generally preferred for small sample. Colmagro is preferred for large sample. It can be used for small also. Hence, in general, we say Colmagro-Smirnow test, because Shapiro is suitable only for small size, but Colmagro can be used for any of the sample size. Okay. So preferably it is for large sample. So from the significance value, we can come to a conclusion whether the data is normal or not. So you can kindly make a note. Hypothesis to check the normality test. It was already stated in the PPT also. If anyone has missed writing it during that time, you may write it down. If you want, I will show you. Yes, this is the slide. The data is normal and data is not normal. This is the hypothesis for testing the normality of the data. So looking at the p-value, you can make a conclusion. So our p-value is more than 0.05 because it is around 0.2. So if it is less than, we reject. But here it is more than. So we do not reject the null hypothesis. And we conclude that our data is normal. So statistically also we can say our data is normal. And when you have looked the presentation of the graph, it was somehow able to fit a So this is how we check the normality of the data. So we have more different options available to see in the descriptive part. So once you know how to you can see one by one and see what is there. So for today, I will stop here. Tomorrow, let us see few more functions. And in what way our data should be in few situations of the testing of hypothesis. So thank you everyone once again for this complete participation in today's session
Thank you
also.
so much.
See you all to meet all tomorrow for the further part.
Dear
Thank you so
participants,
much.
very good evening. Yeah, thank you so much for your active participation. So we are having 2 more days. So almost 14 hours for HPSS and remaining 6 hours for academic writing. Sincerely thanking you all. I thought you won't come, but many people came. More than we received 200 participants for this day. This shows how much you are serious about your research. Sincerely thanking you all. Sincerely thanking the resource person for the day. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma'am.